Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have some XRP news today. We have some XLM news today. Actually, there was actually quite a little bit of XLM news today. But we're going to begin here with this article, and it's titled Ripple Director says big news coming for Ripple and XRP. Okay. The first thing that I'm thinking is, why would an ex-director know about this? And then I'm just keeping it real. Then if you're trusted, why would you leak that something big is coming? Like, did they authorize you to say that? And if they wanted people to know something big was coming, why wouldn't they just say it themselves? Which already puts it on my mind. Like, wait a minute. Let's say that they didn't want that information out there. They could switch it up. Like, let's push that back. We didn't want this out there. I'm just playing with ideas. You get what I'm saying? But an ex-Ripple director, already I'm like, I don't know about this. Then on top of that, another thing that comes to the forefront of my mind is a lot of these times where people build something up and they're like, well, it's going to be a big thing. And it's hit or miss. Sometimes it is actually big. And I find it more times when Ripple just releases information, they don't say anything. They just drop it on you. That tends to be the bigger information. A lot of times when people are building it up, sometimes it could be a little bit disappointing. Like it just doesn't excite me sometimes. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know how this is going to go, but let's read this little tidbit here. Let's at least hear this individual out, right? And I hope it is something big. I hope it's something massive. I do. I hope I'm wrong and there's something huge coming. All right. So let me just clarify that. But this is what it says. A former Ripple director has recently teased upcoming exciting developments. So multiple. Okay. They said developments, not development. All right. It says for the XRP ecosystem, charging the community to expect, quote, big news, unquote, soon. This teaser came from Sean McBride, a talent acquisition leader. Okay. Who served as Ripple's director. Okay. As Ripple's director of global talent acquisition for 2 years. From August 2021 to July 2023, McBride took to X last night to prepare the XRP community for what he regards as a, quote, big, unquote, development. Quote, big news coming from Ripple and XRP in the next couple days. All right, if you say so. It says, quote, the former Ripple director remarked in a rather enigmatic post that has triggered mixed reactions from the XRP community. Of course, as soon as you say something like this, knowing what we're waiting for, it's going to have a lot of people's minds running. And one thing I can say about people involved with XRP, they're thinkers. They're going to tear everything apart. It's just what they do, right? So I understand it completely. And they're vocal, another thing, which is very good. It says XRP community reacts while some proponents express excitement in anticipation of the unknown development. See, I'm neutral. I like to keep a neutrality. I'm not excited and I'm not excited. You get what I'm saying? I'm like right in the middle because I don't know what's going to happen. If something happens, great. If it doesn't, I keep on moving. It doesn't change anything. Nothing that this individual says moves me left or right. He changes nothing. His thoughts change nothing. If he's just making it up, if he's just clout chasing, it means nothing. I keep the same energy across. I have a vision. I have a pathway, and it's not set and it's not changed by other people. So this is just interesting news. That's nothing more, unless Ripple actually does come out with something massive that skyrockets XRP's price. Then now we're in motion. Now we're playing. But other than that, this is nothing. I'm not worried about that, right? Not too much. So I'm neutral, right? So now let's move on from here. We have to get to some of this other news. All right. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. All right. This article here is titled Major XRP Amendment in Serious Jeopardy. And it goes as such. The XRP ledger is facing a hurdle as the proposal for its automated market maker amendment has dropped below the required 80% consensus threshold. This setback could delay the anticipated introduction of a feature poised to revolutionize decentralized trading on the platform. But this is not a bad thing, in my humble opinion. It's a good thing. So here's what happened. Similar to what just occurred with a certain offering from Stellar, the proposal 20, I believe. Listen, they found a little bug in there, which they consider it to be a minor bug, but it doesn't make a difference. if you want business to flow, if you want that future to remain bright, we have to make sure that there are no bugs, that everything is absolutely fantastic, beautiful, because we want that big money to flow. If anything were to happen once that money is flowing, it would be way more problematic. There will be way more complaints. All right. And that could stop the money. Don't you want to see XRP skyrocket? So they discovered the bug, and they're probably going to push this back a little bit. Listen, at this point, I'm all for it. Yes, I want things to happen right now. Sure. But I want things to also happen the right way. So, like I said, one of our members only people, Lynn, was absolutely correct when it comes to things like this. Let them repair it. Let them repair it and roll it out without a flaw. That's what's for best. I agree with that 100%, right? So it says validators have withdrawn their support due to a recently discovered bug. Yeah, let them go fix that. Let them go. There's no reason to take any chances while we have time right now. We have time. As long as the SEC case is going on, we have a little bit of time. As long as the institutions can't use XRP the way that that it's designed for them to use, we have a little bit of time. Let them fix this. Let everything be perfect by the time, as perfect as it can be, by the time everything's ready to be rolled out and used. All right. Which could be in the near future. It says discovered a bug despite the amendment previously securing an 85.7% approval rate. Yeah. So once again, it's not something bad. I want you to find out if something is indeed wrong. I don't want to find out when it's already being used. Let's fix that. Right. I want to know that my shoe is untied now before we begin the marathon. I don't want to know my shoe is untied while the marathon is going on. Now I can't bend down to tie it. If I do, I'm losing time. I could trip over it, fall. You get what I'm saying? I'm just painting a picture there. That's what we don't want with this. Let them go fix it. Not a bad thing. Good thing. So now, little bit of Stellar related news. All right. We haven't done Stellar XLM in a few days, right? So if you like this kind of Stellar XLM based news, please smash that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. But when you click that like button, it lets me know on these particular videos, like, okay, yeah, people still want to hear the Stellar news, and then I keep it coming. It says here, a trillion dollar dream. Why experts predict 1000x increase for tokenized treasuries. And this is something we've been trying to get across to people. Of course, there's going to be quite a few winners, actually, but Stellar is at the forefront right now as far as tokenized real world assets, right? I think Stellar is at the top. Sometimes they're number one. I don't know if they're number one right now. Then there's like Ethereum and a few others. It says tokenized treasuries have grown by over 700% in 1 year. In 1 year. Learn how these digital assets are reshaping the investment scenes. The concept of digitizing traditional financial assets like government or corporate bonds, which let me pause there once again. And see, this is why it's important to share information. A lot of people will not know this. I think this is one of the reasons why Stellar has been keeping a tight relationship with the White House, with the federal government. They're sending letters to them and they're getting phone calls from the White House. Listen, and I'll even throw Algorand in there. I'll throw Ripple in there. They have tight relationships with certain entities within the United States government as well. Things like this, where you're trusted, where you're respected. You've been working with them. You have someone, in Stellar's instance, like the Bank for International Settlements already has their green bond on there, on Stellar, right? So they have proof that they can be trusted, right, by these big, powerful entities. So when they're talking about digitizing traditional financial assets like government or corporate bonds, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I believe Stellar has to be, at least their name is at the forefront. They have to be somewhere near the front of the pack. Even if they're not chosen, I believe it's a possibility they could be chosen for that, right? It says, so corporate bonds for trading on blockchain platforms has transitioned from theory to practice. As of February, tokenized treasuries have emerged as a new avenue for crypto investors, with the market witnessing a growth of over 700%, reaching $860 million. And that's just the beginning, up from $100 million at the start of 2023. It says here, the surge in interest isn't just from individual enthusiasts. Of course not. Of course not. Institutional investors are also getting on board, and that's where the big money comes in. We're at the very beginning of that institutional money flowing into crypto, and it's barely begun. It says recognizing the potential for higher yields. Remember, I was talking about that. And, what's funny is I don't want to give too much away, but there's a members only video where I cover certain things like this, certain things that are delicious and everything else. I put a lot of data into that video. Other things just don't compare. They just don't compare. You look at the percentage on them. They don't compare. Higher yields. That's going to be something that's very advantageous for crypto. Trust me on this. It says, and more diversified portfolios. Global X, a giant in the world of ETFs, managing over 42 billion in assets, predicts, based on real world assets data, that the market for tokenized bonds, which once again, Stellar's already involved in tokenized bonds, which is currently under $1 billion, could explode to around 1 trillion by 2030. How much of that do you believe Stellar could take? It's up to you to decide, marking over a 1,000x increase from current levels. Now, just imagine you have wallets that have to use XLM. Every wallet has to have a modicum of XLM. Then on top of that, with all of the different illiquid assets that they have that they can't move, right? They can't liquidate. You can use Stellar to provide liquidity for those things to move any currency or anything that's tokenized value from one place from A to B. So then you have that as well, XLM being used for that. But then also, if you watched one of the recent videos where I showed how Soroban will affect XLM's price, period, and the fees associated with it that are calculated in lumens, stroops, and all that type of stuff. You have that. Now imagine all of these companies using Soroban, right? Imagine Stellar, if Stellar can move to the forefront of the smart contract sphere, and with their connections, it's definitely possible. Definitely possible. How that could affect everything. I keep that in my mind. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to think how I think. I'm just sharing my thoughts. That's all. So tokenized treasuries. What are tokenized treasuries and how do they work? It says, in essence, tokenized treasuries are a subset of tokenized securities, focusing solely on government debt instruments. What are tokenized securities? They are digital representations of traditional financial assets traded on blockchain networks using digital tokens. All right. Examples of tokenized securities, of course, include company stocks, government or corporate bonds, and even real estate properties. Of course, here they have to throw in treasuries. So now, and I would think like when I say that, I'm talking about bonds, I'm talking about T-bills. I see everything being tokenized. It's going to be so easy for them to move everything, track it, trace it. So now let's move here, right? We move here. This is from stellar.org, just to give you a direct reference point as to how they're involved, right? So this is a blog post from Stellar titled "The Full Package Tokenizing Securities on the Stellar Network." We probably looked at this before, but I just want to show you here with the treasuries, that treasuries aspect. As the digital economy continues to grow, asset tokenization has emerged as one of the most practical and compelling applications of blockchain technology. Companies like BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and more have all begun to explore tokenizing assets like money market funds, treasuries, deposits, securities, and commodities for the purpose of leveraging real-time settlement and operational efficiency supported by distributed ledger technology. The Stellar network was originally designed for asset tokenization. So they're telling the people, we're designed for all of that. We're designed for money market funds. We're designed for treasuries, deposits, securities, commodities, right? I told you, this is what they want to go after. They're telling you right here. One of the reasons with commodities, why they're positioned in certain regions deeply in the world that are rich in commodities. You see them, rubbing shoulders with Wisdom Tree, Franklin Templeton, United Nations, Bank for International Settlements is when the money market funds come in handy, will come into play, possibly treasuries, etc. Right? So Stellar has been positioning themselves. We just have to wait and see, for those who will wait and see, if they can pull it all off, right? Which none of us has a crystal ball. We don't know, but things have been looking good, my humble opinion. So now let's go to a little bit more Stellar related news. Okay. It's a rare day where we got a few things released. So now this article here is titled MoneyGram Accelerates Global Digital Strategy with Appointment of New Senior Hires to Drive Unprecedented Growth. What allows that unprecedented growth? Stellar-based wallets, all that integration that they did with Stellar. That's what is going to allow it. So I guess the time is coming soon. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, MoneyGram International Incorporated, a leading global financial technology company that connects the world's communities, is pleased to announce 4 strategic appointments to its senior management team, responsible for the acceleration of the company's global digital strategy. These new leaders will partner closely with executive leadership team and report directly to Seth Ross, MoneyGram Chief Digital Officer. Bringing decades of digital expertise to MoneyGram, the new leaders will help oversee the next level of digital, look, they put emphasis on that, digital growth for the company, focusing on 4 strategic areas: MoneyGram Online, MoneyGram Business, pricing strategy, and payments and product partnerships. Right. Interesting. It says, quote, "It's been a privilege to join the incredible team." Let's skip the quotes here. Skip the quotes, but they have some powerhouses here that they are bringing here. It says Arnaldo Reyes has 20 years of payments experience. So they have a list here of all the people that they're bringing in. This could get interesting very quickly. See, they're here talking about mobile wallets and such, right? It's going to be interesting to see how this relationship between Stellar and MoneyGram takes off with all these on and off ramps that they claim that they have been building, with Soroban deploying coming up soon. It's going to be an interesting, next year or two for Stellar. Really, the bank coins overall. Did you see yesterday's video, by the way? It was titled something like yes, 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 something. That was accurate. That was true. Did you see the chapter on Hedera? Oh my. Why is nobody talking about this? What is going on here? Hedera did something major, right? I'm going back to the thing here because I think sometimes people feel like the titles might not be accurate when they are. I even titled the chapter yes, 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 so people could go right to that chapter in the video. But anyway, yeah, Hedera. I thought about that because I'm thinking about Stellar. Then I thought about Ripple and what they're doing, and then I thought about wait a minute, Hedera is doing massive things. Massive partnership they just landed with Saudi Arabia. Then that leads me to think about Quant and what they're releasing, all these integrations for Overledger, making Overledger that much more simple. Things are accelerating. It's just, it just happens that the bulk of the crypto sphere is just in a very pessimistic mood right now. There's nothing you can do about that. They go through their ups and their downs, right? But things have been going very well and looking very good as far as partnerships and building towards the future, where the flow of traditional money can come into crypto. I think people forget you have to have something solid and legit to bring that traditional money into crypto. And that's what you want, especially now that retail is really turning their back on crypto. You definitely want the institutions to step in because, well, let's move on to another article here because we have just a little bit more news to cover. And things are getting hot, folks. So I told you, when these people start talking about commercial real estate, it's getting bad. This is an article from Yahoo Finance titled, "Janet Yellen is Concerned." It's bad when Janet Yellen is concerned. Janet Yellen is concerned and sees a lot of stress ahead for commercial real estate as a wave of giant loans come due this year. Of course, she's concerned. Once again, commercial real estate is what can take those banks down. It's going to get fiery at some point this year. And it's not going to be a secret because they can't hide it anymore. Everybody's beginning to report on it, although we've been covering it here for about 2 years now. And that is what's that going to cause? The reason I bring that up is because that's going to cause bank runs. Mark my words. If and when everybody starts posting about the commercial real estate problems and the banks about to go down, there can be, I won't say will be, I'm not an absolutist, but there can be massive bank runs. And that's when everybody has to be very, very safe. And this is why I always encourage people. I can't tell them what to do, not financial advice, but I always encourage people to check the health of their bank. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt just to know if they're healthy or not. Are they vulnerable or not to bank runs? Because if I were using a bank, I would want my money to be safe. It says it's not just the Federal Reserve that's worried about the downfall of commercial real estate and its reverberating effects on the economy and business. This is why, listen, over on the other channel, this is why we've been advancing ourselves over there, learning new techniques, new things to make our businesses bulletproof, to bring in extra money, to get an advantage. I'm telling you. So I take that serious because I understand what's going on in the economy. I understand the economic climate and how tough it is for small, medium-sized businesses. No, I want to win, but I'm going to share my knowledge as well for anybody else that may be willing to learn and win. Anyway, it triggered that thought when I see business there. And I'm like, yeah, we're trying to make sure that we're not affected. Not affected. We have cushions of capital that we can rely on. Anything happens, anything goes down, right? But anyway, says Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told lawmakers on Tuesday she's, quote, concerned, unquote, about the deadly combination of high interest rates and vacancy rates on the commercial real estate debt. But you can't do anything about the high interest rate. Not right now. Not right now. Well, we'll talk about that another time. These factors will, quote, put a lot of stress on the owners of these properties, unquote, Yellen said, speaking before the House Committee on Financial Services on Tuesday. She cited an increase in interest rates and the higher vacancy rates resulting from a shift to hybrid and remote work, as well as a swath of commercial real estate loans that will soon come due. Yes, and they're having a big problem even now trying to get people back into the office. I saw an article where it was JP Morgan Chase. Well, I think it was JP Morgan Chase are struggling to get their people back in office, and they're making it clear, we want you back in the office. So there's still that battle going on there. They're not going to solve this. There's no way. People don't want to go back to the office. They don't. All the dramas, all the hardships, all the pressuring from supervisors and managers, the lack of relaxation on everybody's part, making them, behave much more intensely. No, listen, they have discovered that there is something better and they can still perform their duties. I just don't see them winning this battle, which means commercial real estate problems will remain. And no, you can't turn them into apartments. They tried that and nobody's going to buy them. The people can't. I showed the article in one of the last few videos that I made where the experts were showing everyone half of the United States can't afford their rent. Half. Yeah, let that blow your mind. You could go back and watch that chapter. I always put the chapter so people don't even have to. They can just skip right to where they need to go. But if half of the U.S. can't afford their rent, then how the heck are they going to buy your new high-priced apartments? You get what I'm saying? So, and there's just not enough people that are making just, boatloads of capital right now to go around for all of these thousands upon thousands of apartments that they're trying to make out of these former offices, right? And they can't build them fast enough either. But that's a completely different issue. So that problem will remain. Just my humble opinion. You could disagree with that, but this is what I'm thinking. So now let's close it out with this here. Let's close out the video with this right here, because this is a little bit of interesting news. This article is titled, Bitcoin has 10 days max until Bitcoin price metric hits squeeze zone. Bitcoin volatility monitoring is calling for a dramatic upending of flat Bitcoin price action within the coming days. So we got a lot of things predicted for the next few days. A Bitcoin squeeze, and we have allegedly some big XRP news coming in a few days. It says Bitcoin has no more than 10 days before fresh Bitcoin price volatility hits. New analysis concludes. It says Bitcoin may have traded with a compact intraday range for over 150 days, but a new chart signal suggests that the change is afoot. Bollinger Band with BBW, which measures the difference between the standard deviation bands commonly used in Bollinger Band's volatility indicator, has hit lows that historically resulted in a, quote, huge move, unquote, on Bitcoin/USD. BBW width rarely decreases to the levels currently on display, and each occurrence has led to a snap Bitcoin price, quote, squeeze, unquote. The issue, however, is that its direction remains unknown. Okay, so we will see. We'll see how this goes and, where it goes. It says Bollinger Bands have acted as an indicator, frequently alluding to periods of volatility over the past months, with its bands narrowing to levels that have rarely appeared in Bitcoin's lifetime. So we're going to see there's going to be some kind of activity happening very soon. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.